Okay, so it's currently 6 a.m. I'm taking a walk from the homeless shelter, and I'm thinking about some things that I guess I should. I guess I feel obligated to like document some of my thoughts. So here we are. I sent a very thorough and, from my perspective, respectful text or string of texts to the counselor that I just got. Basically saying, yeah, I don't think we should work together. I don't think this is gonna work. That thing you said about me being on the road to prison, I think was very distasteful and just a very big sign that this isn't gonna work. You know, because he kept trying to project things onto me. He kept trying to say that I wasn't open to listening, that I wasn't receptive. And I think it was so interesting because like real time, I was able to stop and point out to him, hey, let's pay attention to real time. Like, you say I'm not listening, but you see how I stopped talking altogether so that you could interject, so you could talk over me. You see how we're having this back and forth. You see how whenever you try to talk, I stop talking. You know what I mean? So like, and I think it's, oh my goodness, I think it's just one of those situations where you just have to accept, where I just have to accept that this person is who they are, and that's just what it is, you know. And I don't think it's gonna work because like what? Another one of the things that was a real big red flag for me was that he said that he doesn't really like I'm not quoting him verbatim, but he said something along the lines of, I don't really care about feelings and emotions and stuff like that. And that was one of the, he said a lot of different things where I was just like, okay, this is not gonna work. Like, and I don't know, like, oh, you got it. But yeah, he said a lot of things that made it clear to me that this just isn't going to work, you know? And like, it's no judgment from my perspective. I'm not here to be like, he's fucking stupid, he shouldn't be in his job. Like, that's not my perspective. But if we were to dig a little bit deeper, that is my perspective, actually. I think that if you're not able to handle your clients, if you're not able to like do, like, I don't know, like maybe he's had a lot of success rate, I don't know, but he told me, specifically the prison thing, he told me that there was a guy that he talked to, and this is called transference. As a person who went to school for some sort of therapy, like, it's called transference when you there's different types of there's counter transference and whatnot, but generally it's when you project a past situation or a past desire onto the present situation, onto the client, or onto the counselor if it's the other way around. I think that's counter transference, I don't know, but like, and that's what that was, because he was like making it so clear. He was like, yeah, he was just like you, you're basically the same person. I rebuke you in the name of fucking Satan. What the fuck? Like, because then he kept saying that he was like, I don't know your sexuality. And I was like, okay, you could ask, but like, I don't know, man. Like, this guy was very clearly had the Jezebel spirit on him, which, once again, no judgment. I work with all types of spirits. I work with all types of energies. Like, it's, you know, nothing's inherently bad, nothing's inherently good. But I don't know, like, it is really baffling to me to even consider the idea of working with somebody on that level who doesn't think that it makes sense to like respect the emotions. Like, that alone, I'm just like, what? How did you get to how? Like, you know? And another thing that he said that really just like grind my gears in all the wrong ways was that I need to live in reality. And when I asked him to clarify that, well, he already clarified that, like, he was saying, like, I'm a black man, and I have to recognize that I'm a black man in America. And I was like, okay, I hear you, but what does that mean? Like, how do you apply that? Like, how is it applicable? What do I need to do to recognize that? Because it really just seemed like he was just saying a bunch of nonsense. He was just saying anything and everything and hoping that it would stick. That's what it seems like. I'm not saying that is but that's what it seems like. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about, brother? Like, I just think it was weird because, like, there were moments where he made it a point to, like, compliment the way that I articulate. But then right after that, he would say, "You're on the road to prison for the way you talk to people." First of all, this is the first time we're talking. Well, we had talked on the phone beforehand. But either way, it's just like you read a whole file about me, and apparently you just go. You're already gonna go. It's okay. But yeah, no, like, he literally told me, like, I read your file and that's why I wanted it. And I was like, no. He said, I read your file. And I was like, it probably has some crazy shit in there. And he was like, that's why I chose it. And once again, one of the clocking it, like, I should have been like, that's crazy because you don't know me. Like, you don't know me. That is a file based off of how this other person is perceiving me. So right off the bat, you got the wrong image of me, brother. Like, what? And if we talk face to face, if we talk voice to voice again, I'm going to say that, like, you assume things about me based off of a file that somebody else wrote about me based off of their person. So, like, I just don't think this is gonna work, and I don't want to try to make it work because this guy is a fucking egomaniac. Like, he really is. Like, and I told him to his face, I think you have a beautiful flow. I think that your passion is amazing. Like, like, in different ways, you're amazing. You're awesome. But I don't think you're awesome for me. And I think we should just let that be. Like, I don't know. I'm a very special case. Like, I need special attention, bitch. Like, and if you're not willing to give that to me, then it would just be unproductive for us to try to make it work. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the bottom line. It would be unethical. It would be unprofessional. And I told him that in the car. Like, there was a lot of things that I said. I feel like I was way too transparent. I was way too, like, honest to just kind of let this slide because I already know who this person is. I already know who he is. Like, I already know, and I don't think it's going to be helpful long term. Like, maybe in another life, if somehow the professional guidelines weren't there and we were friends, maybe that could be a thing. But even then, I don't think, at this point in my evolution, at this point in my journey, I don't think I could be friends with somebody like him. Like, and whether or not we talk about it from a spiritual perspective, and we talk about, like, him being used by the devil or whatever, I'm not necessarily going from that angle, but part of me does believe that. Part of me is like, obviously, because what person in their right mind would say something like that to somebody and think that they're trying to help? Like, what? I don't know, maybe this is, like, just me venting. Maybe there's no wisdom. Maybe there's no, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm just venting, and that's okay. But I guess if there was a moral to this, I would say, like, I mean, this was kind of the moral of the last video, so I don't mean to be repetitive, but, like, be mindful of, like, taking advice from people just because they're, like, over you. You know what I mean? Because people be stupid as fuck. People be, like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not to be an insult, it's not to be mean, but literally that's the truth of it. People are fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like, and it be the people who literally have the most power and control. And it's like, bitch, why are you even in that position? Like, who the fuck, like, you have no fucking brain cells. Like, you have no heart, you have no brain, you have no soul. Like, who the fuck gave you this position? Do you know what I mean? Like, go fucking work at McDonald's. Go fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, no judgment, no shame to McDonald's, but go do something where you're not impacting people's lives so intimately. It's really gross. It's really gross because, like, first of all, you don't have the heart to be doing what you're doing. You just don't. I'm sorry. If you take that as an insult, you need to maybe consider why that's an insult. Secondly, like, I think that's really the only thing. You don't have the heart for it. Like, you don't have the empathy for it. Like, and then when somebody like me comes along, somebody who's extra sensitive, somebody who's really able to articulate themselves super well, super clearly, and you, instead of taking this as an opportunity to learn, you double down in your perspective and try to belittle them or try to make them think differently. And it's just like, I get it. You're choosing comfort if that's what you choose. But I shouldn't have to, you know what I mean? I shouldn't have to deal with the negative consequences of you refusing to take your job seriously, refusing to evolve and grow with the times. You know, because when we boil it down, that's what it is. It's like, once again, I said this to him in the car, and I don't understand how a sane, logical person could disagree with this. I've said this to several people, and I think this is a litmus test. I don't know, but I think this is a litmus test. Say this to somebody that you're unsure of and see how they respond. Tell them, give them the wisdom, or maybe I'm just giving you the wisdom, but every single situation that is challenging for us, every single situation that causes friction is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to evolve. I think that is the most beautiful, most elegant wisdom that I could give in this video. You know what I mean? Like every single moment, every single time you're having issue, it is an opportunity for you to grow, to up level. And you know, and it's like, if you choose not to take that, that's fine. There's no judgment in that. We all are on our own paths. But like, once again, as a mental health professional, because we could talk, we're all human and all, I don't care. Your whole goal, your whole existence as a mental health professional is to make sure that your client's mental health is in check. That's the bottom line. I don't care about your personal feelings. I don't care. Because once again, it ricochets. It turns into a full circle, because there's a lot of mental health professionals who say that. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about how you feel about it. Like sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And that's true. But it goes back in a circle, because I don't care about your feelings. And that's the narcissist. That's the narcissistic, parasitic energy that is existence within these fields. Because what the fuck do you mean, I don't care about your feelings, I don't care about your emotions, but the moment you're having a bad day, the moment something is happening in your life, suddenly you know to retreat and you know to not, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, come on, bitch, don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite, you know? Like, and obviously this would not upset me as much if we were just talking about flipping burgers, if we were just talking about any other fucking job. But once again, this is a field where you literally get training, you literally have to, you take a lot of time. The only reason why I didn't pursue this career, this field, is because it takes a lot of time. And I knew in my heart of hearts that I wasn't going to dedicate that much time to it, you know, officially, because I study psychology on my own. I don't mind studying, you know, but to officially, you know, be in a class and be in a setting, and, you know, I was like, I don't know how much I have it in me to do that. That was just me being honest with myself at the time. So I chose a different route, and, you know, I'm not upset about that. I don't regret that, but that's just the story. That's just how things aligned. But yeah, that's where I'm at currently. And it's starting to become a very clear pattern for me. And thankfully, because it's becoming a clear pattern now, I can kind of connect the dots and kind of be like, okay, what am I doing? What can I do better to make this better for me? You know what I mean? Because, like, sure, I could point the finger at everybody else and be like, you know, you're negligent, you don't know how to do your job, but okay, what about me? What do I need to do better so that I can get what I need? You know what I mean? Like, what do I need to do? And I guess that's another piece of wisdom, I guess. Like, every challenging situation, everything, you should be asking yourself, like, what do I need to do? And, like, I think, how do I say this? If you're more spiritually aligned, then that question would be in the direction of, like, what can I do that is still in integrity, that is still within realms of truth, with still in realms of love? So, you know what I mean? Because that's I think that's the part that people miss out. It's like, what do I need to do, period? Scratch that. What do I need to do where I can still stay in alignment with truth and love and clarity? Period. Exclamation point, question mark. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the tricky thing, because when you ask yourself that version of the question, it becomes a little bit more intricate, and you kind of have to think outside of the box a little bit, because we live in a very corrupted world. Like, if you ask yourself that version of the question, you're probably not going to get the same amount of opportunities and offers and stuff, because that's just not how it works. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, but that's the thing. If you really want to live in alignment, if you really want to live in accordance with your spirit, with your soul, then yeah, sometimes you gotta make sacrifices. Sometimes you gotta pass up on opportunities. That's just how that works, man. Like, you can't be an opportunist and also be like spiritually aligned. It doesn't really work. It doesn't. I had a really big internal moment the other day. I think it was yesterday. Where I was basically telling myself, I was like, I'm really done with humanity. Like, I have faith in God, I have faith in myself, I have faith in the angels and like the spirits and all that, but I'm really done with humanity. you know But yeah, that's where I'm at, basically, mentally, emotionally. Like, I'm just done. I'm done with people. And of course, I'm gonna still try my best to show up and be nice and be polite and be kind when I can. But generally, I'm just done. I don't believe in most humans. I really don't. I don't think, like, the person that I'm dating right now, if we could call it that, is just, it is what it is. Like, there are my frustrations with it. I felt sad about it. I literally had a moment in the shelter, because we're not supposed to leave before 6 a.m. So I was in the shower area by myself, just talking to myself, or talking with my spirits. I don't know, whoever, doesn't matter. Myself, spirits, whatever. We're all one. But I was just talking, and I was venting about the situation with the counselor, and I was just like, do you know who the fuck I am? Like, do you know, like, and it's like not even on no ego shit. It's just like, I know who the fuck I am. I know whose I am. You know what I mean? Like, I know what I've done. I know what I've been through. You know what I mean? Like, and for you to come into my life as somebody who's supposed to help me, and you tell me something as disgusting as what you told me. The disgusting thing was, once again, that he said that I was on the road to prison. It's laughable in hindsight, and because I have the awareness that I do, but if I was a different person, if I was a lot more vulnerable, I might have believed him. Because once again, he has a nice flow, he has a nice passion. But like, I'm smarter than that, bitch. But he said that. And also he also said this specifically after, not directly after, but I had mentioned to him that I tune in to angelic frequencies and to like otherworldly energies and stuff like that. And I don't think I made it super clear that it's not just angelic frequencies. I feel like he maybe thinks I'm a pansy or something, which I don't really care. But like, I made it very clear. And then somewhere along the lines, he said, I think you're on the wrong path. I think you're on the road to prison. After I told him that, after he's complimented me on how spiritually aligned I am. Doesn't that sound like something sent from the devil? Doesn't that sound like literally something the devil would say? Like, you're telling him, hey, I'm praying to God. I'm doing all this spiritual work. I'm praying. I'm having faith. And you think to form your lips, to flap your lips, to say you're going to prison with the way that you talk to people, and you're going to hell. That's what I said. That's what I said in the shower. Because I was just venting. I was just talking to myself out loud. I was like, you said you're going to prison. I said, bitch, you're going to hell. I think that's a lot worse. I don't believe in the traditional idea of hell. That's just a joke. I don't necessarily think that the idea of hell is kosher at all. But you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, I was just so baffled in retrospect. Like, I was baffled slightly in the moment, and then I was baffled after the fact. Like, how could somebody say that? I have 2 master's degrees. How could you say that to somebody? You say you're dedicated helping. Like, what? Like, there's just so many aspects of it where I should have just been like, I need another counselor. And I should have stood firm in that. But I did not, for whatever reason. Excuse me. Because my thing about it, if I was in that position, if I was a counselor like him, I would try to meet my client where they are. I wouldn't be like, oh, well, this is what I think you need to hear. This is what I think you need. You know what I mean? I think that's so selfish and ego-based, because it's like, bitch. Also, the fact that I'm telling you that I tune into higher frequencies and higher awareness, and you think somehow in your stupid mind that you have more of an authority or you have more of an understanding of what I need for my life. It sounds like you don't know anything about anything. It sounds like you don't know what is up or what is down, because, and I was, because I took a lot of time before we met, to like really think. I was like, you know, I want this to be a productive meeting. I want this to be a productive conversation. Like, please, like, angels, like, guide me, help me to like make sure I say or do whatever, you know what I mean, so that it can be a productive situation. And so I went into it with that mindset, with that prayer, you know. And so, you know, like, I don't know, man. Like, and when I was watching that movie, shout out to fucking Jamie Foxx. I love Jamie Foxx. No hate when I say this, I'm joking. I hate Jamie Foxx though for this movie. This movie, I don't know if he was like a director, but like he was a big prominent part of the movie. Day Shift, it was a movie about vampires. One aspect of that movie that really fucking pissed me off to no end, like I'm not joking when I tell you that I found myself pacing and yelling at myself about the plot of the movie after it was over. Like, that's how upset I was at that movie. But like one of the aspects was that like the humans had this like this really big ego around the vampires, where they like would disrespect the vampires literally on the brink of death. Literally, you're tied up to a chair, your hand's about to get stabbed with a knife, and you think to spit in their face. And that's how I feel like a lot of humans feel about like energies that are smarter than them, that are better than them. It's just like, you want so badly to believe that you should be the hero, that you should be the victor, that you're willing to belittle somebody else, that you're willing to hurt somebody else just to prove that point. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Like, humility is a beautiful principle. You know what I mean? Like, having some humility will do so much for your spirit, for your soul. And like, most people do not have humility at all. Like, you know, and like, sure, I fall short. I think one thing where my humility shines is like in me following certain ideas. Like, there's certain ideas that I have where I'm like, I know if I were to follow that, it could be successful. But my lack of humility in those areas prevents me from putting myself out there in that way. But I could never be so prideful to like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what, like, I don't know. And I never say never. But like, you know, like, I reflect daily. I ask myself the hard questions daily. And he asked me, he was like, how long have you been on this path? And I was like, I don't know, I've always been questioning. I've always been the type of person to question my existence and to question reality. So I don't know, I've just always been this way, you know? And then that was another part. I said that, and he just kind of went to another topic. He just went back to his earthly perspective, and it was just like, I don't know. I'm just tired of humans. I'm tired of dealing with fragile humans who don't recognize that they're fragile. And then instead of recognizing that they're fragile, they try to push that onto somebody else. I'm tired of people. Projecting shit. I really am. By the time this is posted, it'll be January. So hopefully I have a new counselor by then. Hopefully. I'm gonna try to call the counseling company like when they open to try to talk to them, because these people cannot be trusted. These people are quite disgusting, and I quite frankly, I hope that they either learn, evolve, and grow, or they just get out of those positions. Because I don't think you should be in that position helping people if you can't, you know what I mean, empathize, or you know what. But that's not my place. If that's what needs to happen, so be it. But that's not my place as a human. But anyways, that's what's groovy. That's what's going on. Hope you have a nice day. Stay groovy. Stay groovy. I don't know what I was trying to find other words, but yeah, bye.